Hey, thanks for joining me, everyone. Welcome. And as you know, in a world where everyone thinks they're an expert on everything, it's no wonder we can't agree on anything. But today, I want to talk about the art of agreeing to disagree, or as I like to call it, the art of not being an ass. I mean, come on. Have we all forgotten how to have a civil conversation? It's like everyone's always looking for a fight. It's like they're training for the world insult championships or something like that. But let me tell you, sometimes agreeing to disagree is the way to go. I mean, sure, you may think the New York Times is, honest reporting. It isn't. But that doesn't mean we still can't be friends. I'll just have to look at you with a little bit of pity in my eyes. That's all. And I know it's hard to resist the temptation to just go off on someone when they're spouting nonsense. But before you start throwing insults, just remember that you may actually learn something from someone with a different point of view. I know, crazy idea, right? Learn something from someone who's totally wrong. Oh, it's like we're living in some kind of bizarro world. But seriously, the world would be a lot better off if we just learned to take a deep breath, agree to disagree once in a while. I mean, have you seen Twitter? Lately, it's like a bunch of people trying to yell at each other at a rock concert. No one's listening to anyone. So let's all try to be a little more tolerant, a little more open-minded, a little less likely to throw a chair at someone just because they think differently than we do. And if all else fails, just remember, at least we can all agree that Oasis was the best band of the 90s. My name is Tom Coffey. This is the Coffee and Nuance Show, the best censored commentary and news show live right now. Flame on. Oh, yeah, that's my monologue. Guess I should change that. Oh, thanks for joining me today. Forgive the set. I have been working on the set, and I'll get it together, but it's not quite there yet. Oh, but agreeing to disagree, I hate that expression. And when someone says, let's just agree to disagree, it infuriates me. However, it's a really good thing. But maybe come up with a different way of phrasing it, because we all hate that expression. Well, I'll just agree to disagree, Yeah, just don't use that phrase, but it's really important to do. If we're having a conversation about something and basically we're arguing about the definition of something. I have one definition, you have a different definition. There's no reason to get mad. One thing that we can just say for agreement is like, well, it sounds to me like we have different definitions. They will agree that we have different definitions. So that is one thing that you can use. There are also different things that you can do. One, we really want to try to be humble when we're disagreeing with someone else. A little self-deprecation always works well. One thing that I often say, and I mean it when I say this, is I don't necessarily agree with me from 2 years ago, so I understand that we don't necessarily agree on this thing. What you're doing there is you're letting the other person know that you're open to changing your opinion, and it's okay that you have a different opinion. I think that's really important to do, and it's hard. It's hard to do, especially when someone else is so wrong. When they're so wrong, you just want to say, don't you get it, you dummy? But that's not persuasive at all. And so see if you can just get them to agree a little bit with you that you have a totally different definition of something, or you don't agree what the facts are or whatever. Maybe you disagree with the reporting. Well, that's something that you can agree on. You can just say, sounds to me like we don't necessarily think the reporting on this is equally valid or something like that. Sounds to me like we have a disagreement about this definition. We have a disagreement about the best strategy. See, here's the kicker. If you can get someone to agree with you, even if you're agreeing that you're different or that you have different ideas, they are going to feel a little closer to you. They're going to be a little bit more connected to you. They're going to walk away thinking, well, I agree with him on something. I agree with him that we don't agree, But that is an important thing. This came up because I found myself having a discussion with someone and just this past weekend about my straw man video and what the definition of a straw man is. Now, in the end, I think we have a different definition. They didn't think so. But I really tried to agree that we had a different definition. Now, even though the other person didn't agree with me on that, that's the only way to try. I don't know of any other way, but if you do, let me know. Because I know that there's going to be a lot of contentious things coming up, especially like tomorrow with the arrest of Trump, right? This may be hard to talk about with some people in your life, at your work, wherever. So the idea of agreeing on something is an important thing to do. You don't have to have the same opinion. No one has the same opinion. But we can, I'm repeating myself. You know what I'm talking about. We got a good show today. I want to talk about this anti-crypto army that Elizabeth Warren is talking about. Arrested for a meme? Oh, yeah. I'm going to tell you about that. The Tates, the Tate brothers, have been moved out of jail to house arrest. There's a ban of e-scooters. Wonder where that is. Get to that. WWE has been sold or merged, if you want, with Endeavor. New York Times lost their fancy blue check mark. And I got some good news today to get to. But first, let's get to this anti-crypto army that Elizabeth Warren is making. Anti-crypto army. Yikes. Senator Elizabeth Warren, boo, proposed Digital Assets Anti-Money Laundering Act. You can always tell what they're pushing by how they title these things. Anyway, that seeks to regulate the cryptocurrency industry. It's criticized for being an unreasonable regulatory burden that could drive crypto businesses overseas and weaken consumer choice. The proposal requires self-hosted wallets to have anti-money laundering policies and prohibit the use of digital asset mixers. It's also harsh on decentralized finance, requiring platforms to record personal information without a warrant or probable cause. The proposal is seen as a smear campaign against the industry that would make Americans more dependent on traditional banks. I thought this was a joke meme when I saw it the first time. Elizabeth Warren is building an anti-crypto army. She posted this on Twitter. It was part of a video for her new campaign that she is running for re-election. What an absolute disappointment Elizabeth Warren is. You have to wonder if this is like the centerpiece of your campaign. Why does she think this? You know, Elizabeth Warren has been critical of banks and greedy bankers and billionaires and all this kind of stuff. And now appears to me, at least appears to me, to be doing the bidding of big banks. And it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy because, in my opinion, crypto, especially Bitcoin, is a very good hedge against U.S. inflation and things like that. It is good for the little guy, right? The little guy, if they just have U.S. dollars and inflation keeps going up and up, their U.S. dollar is not holding its value very well. And perhaps your value might be held a little bit better with Bitcoin, for example. But Elizabeth Warren is pushing this anti-crypto, let's regulate everything. Regulations are rarely the answer, at least to me. They're rarely the answer. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this campaign. I suspect that any of her big tech donors are not going to be a fan of this and may not donate to her. They may donate to her opponent. Or perhaps this is one big honey trap. I know I'm starting to sound conspiratorial on a Monday morning. To find out who donates to any of her, to primary her. If they run somebody against her in the primary, is this a way to find out who donates against her? Could be. They could be making a list of anybody that donates against her, because then they will know that they're pro-crypto people. And as we know, crypto is pirates and fraud and money laundering and all kinds of bad things, right? It's not like none of that happens with the U.S. dollar, you know? But what do you think? Is anybody in my audience holding Bitcoin, other cryptos? I am a big proponent of Bitcoin, and I'd like to know if you are. Let me know in the comments, because I may have some more to say about that later. But I just really wonder why Elizabeth Warren has chosen this as a campaign centerpiece. Why? Why has she chosen this? And it sounds like she is in the pocket of big banks. I can't come up with any other conclusion, but I'm not the most creative person in the world. Do you have a reason? Can you explain why she's promoting this? Let me know in the comments, because I'm up to having my mind changed on this one. All right. Next. Okay. Social media influencer Douglas McKay convicted of election interference. Yikes. Conservative social media influencer Douglas McKay, also known as Ricky Vaughn, has been convicted of election interference in the 2016 presidential race after posting a satirical meme on Twitter. McKay has been found guilty of attempting to deprive individuals of their constitutional right to vote by a federal jury in Brooklyn. He's facing a maximum of 10 years in prison. The government alleges that McKay posted satirical memes telling people they could vote for a candidate, apparently Hillary Clinton, via text message. The case raises questions about free speech rights in the United States. Now, here's one of the memes that he posted. And you can see on the left and right is what it looked like on Twitter, on his account. Okay, he called himself KGB Agent Vaughn, and it was a picture of a guy wearing a MAGA hat. So I think anyone looking at who posted this would know that this was a joke. But the joke was vote for her, vote from home, post, quote, Hillary under hashtag presidential election. On November 8th, type the word Hillary and post it to Twitter or Facebook using the hashtag presidential election between 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. to cast your vote for Hillary from home. Stronger together. You know? So this was a little fake campaign ad that he posted. He posted a number of these, and they were all pretty silly. And I think it's pretty clear it's a joke. But this is a warning, right? This is a warning to anyone in the next election. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Okay. Don't you dare challenge the Democrats, because if so, they may put you in prison for a meme. This is terrifying. Now, I am familiar with this account, and in many ways, it's a good thing that I don't have a big account. Have I posted silly memes? Not anymore. I don't think you'll find any in my account. If I had any, they've all been deleted. But, I mean, post a meme about Hillary Clinton? This was clearly satirical. This was clearly a joke. But the message is loud and clear. They're going to come after people that challenge the Democrats. Now, I know that there were people on the left that posted these types of memes as well. None of them have been arrested at all. This is really scary. This is really, really scary. This isn't the country that I thought I lived in. As a kid growing up, free speech is supposed to be so important. Should be able to make a joke. You know, I thought people that get jailed for jokes were, well, maybe in Canada or something like that, but not in the U.S. But that's the case here. And you're thinking, this can't possibly be true. It's true. There's got to be more to it than this, Tom. I looked into it. I couldn't find more to it than this. You know, posting on message boards and things. Hey, how can we come up with some silly pranks? How can we, you know, what font should we use? I mean, there's that kind of stuff posted online. But you can't make a joke? Does that sound like the place that you want to be, that you can't post a joke? And frankly, if you're so dumb that you think by posting something on Twitter that that's your vote and it counts as a vote, we probably don't need that person voting. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to come up with a different point of view on this one, and I just can't. I can't. But if anyone wants to play devil's advocate and tell me how I'm wrong in the comments, please do. And let's get to something else now. Okay, the Tate brothers. Uh-oh. Controversy. Andrew and Tristan Tate, social media influencers, have been moved from custody to house arrest following a Romanian court's ruling. They've been under investigation since December on allegations of rape, people trafficking. Is that what it's called now? And forming an organized crime group with 6 victims identified by prosecutors. The brothers have denied wrongdoing, and no charges have been brought against them. Andrew Tate has gained notoriety for promoting a hypermasculine, ultra-luxurious lifestyle despite social media bans. So the kind of crazy thing about this story is this whole idea that they can arrest you, keep you in jail for months, and not even charge you with a crime. Now, this is in Romania, but we're seeing the same kind of thing here. We've seen so many people that were arrested for January 6th, and maybe all they did was trespass, and they're being held in jail, not being released for their trial. This really isn't the American ideal that I'm cool with. And so the Tate brothers, having chosen to live in Romania, that's one of the things. There's been a lot of rumors about this, a lot of speculation that maybe the government of Romania was pressured to do something about the Tate brothers, as they have posted a number of things against democratic ideas and democratic politicians in the U.S. And so perhaps there's something to it. I don't know. I don't have any evidence about that. But now they're on house arrest, still not charged with a crime. So if you choose to leave the United States or leave Great Britain, if you move to a different country looking for more freedom, perhaps you'll find more freedom, but also perhaps you'll find less freedom. You got to be careful where you choose to move. And this whole idea that he gained so much notoriety for promoting a hyper-masculine, ultra-luxurious lifestyle kind of sounds nice. I wonder if I could if I could promote a hyper-masculine, ultra-luxurious lifestyle. Now, it'd be tough because I don't have a luxurious lifestyle. But I don't know. That kind of sounds fun. I'm not overly familiar with these guys. I think it is something that appeals to teenagers, if I understand correctly, young men. But if you choose to move to a different country, you may be faced with the same kind of same lack of freedom that seems to be going on now in the U.S. But what do I know? There we go. All right. $1 in the tip jar for saying all right at the beginning of a new story. I'll get better at that. Parisians voted in a referendum to ban rental electric scooters in their city, with almost 90% of votes cast in favor of the ban. The referendum was called in response to concerns over the rising number of people being injured and killed on e-scooters in the French capital, with critics arguing that they're causing more harm than good. However, under 8% of the eligible voters even bothered to turn out for the vote. The three main operators, Lime, Dot, and Tier, used social media to urge people to vote in their favor and offered free rides all day on Sunday. The new laws introduced in 2019 had already imposed fines for riding e-scooters without high visibility clothing and for exceeding speed limits. So this is kind of nuts. I don't know what it's like over there in Paris. I know what it's like here in Portland. We got these scooters everywhere. Sometimes they're left in front of my house. Yeah, they just leave them in front of the house and lean it up against the hedge. They're everywhere. I I have mixed opinions about this. I think that these scooters can be a real lifesaver for some people, as a way to get around, as a way to, especially if maybe you live in the inner city, you don't have a car. Having an e-scooter would be really helpful, using one to get around. So I think that it is a good option for people. You've ridden these e-scooters, haven't you? I had a blast riding them. Just downtown Portland, all around, crossing the bridges. I think they're a lot of fun, and I think they're, relatively safe. So I'm not sure how I feel about banning them. I don't necessarily like that they're just strewn about everywhere. Seems like there could be some compromise. But this is one of those things that they come up with these regulations, they have these laws, and what they do is they will run it in an election that only has a few things. They do that here as well. Pretty much everyone will vote that votes. All voters that vote, they'll vote for like presidential elections and things like that. But if it's some random thing where there's like a school board election and some little bond issues or things like that, yeah, like 90% of people don't even bother. And in this case, because so many people didn't bother, no scooters anymore. So you always got to be careful for that. I don't know. I would like to have scooters in the cities. I think they could do a better job of putting them in designated places or something like that. But yeah, we'll just have to see how this plays out. WWE, that is World Wrestling Entertainment. That's the pro wrestling company, is reportedly in advanced talks to be sold/merged to UFC parent company Endeavor. The deal would create a new publicly traded combat sports and entertainment company, the WWE shareholders owning 49% and Endeavor owning 51%. The new company is expected to be headed up by Ari Emanuel, with Vince McMahon remaining as executive chairman. UFC President Dana White and WWE CEO Nick Khan would stay on as presidents of their respective sides of the businesses. The deal is expected to value WWE at $9.3 billion with a B dollars. So that is wow. $9.3 billion. That's a lot more than what it was valued at just a few years ago. They were talking about that it could be valued at like $3 billion. But with this merger, I think that will be good for both companies. There'll be a lot of synergy. WWE and UFC make their money on subscriptions, pay-per-views. I imagine that they will be able to use a lot of the same platforms, a lot of the same streaming services. So I think that is a good match for the two. This last weekend was WrestleMania in LA, if anyone watched. That was a lot of fun. But this just shows you how big wrestling is in entertainment. You may not be a wrestling person, but believe me, it's one of the biggest entertainment fields that there is. There's a lot of people that like it, and that's evidenced by this merger that just took place. So this is exciting if you are a fan of wrestling, that there may be some changes coming some positive changes coming to the company. Now, is this next story good news? Well, it's just going to depend on your point of view. Okay. We'll just get rid of that right now. Here we go. Twitter CEO Elon Musk announced a crackdown on users avoiding payments for Twitter Blue and set a deadline for April 1st. That was this weekend. For verified users to apply to keep their status. Those who refused to pay would lose their blue checkmark and verified status, including the New York Times, which refused to pay for its verified badge. Musk criticized the publication as hypocritical for insisting that people pay for their subscription while refusing to do the same for Twitter. While the New York Times main account lost its checkmark, its side accounts still retain their badges. So this was actually quite funny. You can see the tweet here. Elon Musk says, the real tragedy of New York Times is their propaganda isn't even interesting. Also, their feed is the Twitter equivalent of diarrhea. It's unreadable. They would have far more followers if they only posted their top articles. And I can't say that I disagree with any of those statements from Elon Musk. And calling out the hypocrisy is a good thing. I'm always for calling out hypocrisy. What was interesting, the New York Times is doubling down on this, telling all of their employees, all of their journalists, that they will not be reimbursed for any money that they spend, that their writers spend for their verification checkmark. The verification checkmark isn't even that much money, $8 or whatever. I know for the New York Times it would be, for organizations it's more than that. But for individual writers, $8. Oh, they're not going to be reimbursed from their company for that? Boo-hoo. You get so many extra advantages when you're using Twitter if you are verified, that extra service should be worth $8 a month or whatever it is. The New York Times seems to be making some kind of political statement by saying that they won't pay for this. It's crazy. It's crazy that they're doing this. Now, what could... But I like this little back and forth. I like this little battle. It's a fun little battle because we have so many really dumb battles going on. So this is yet another silly little dumb battle that's kind of entertaining to watch. I'm still not really a Twitter guy, but if I used it more, I think I would get the blue check. But I think the New York Times is really just showing their hand by not playing ball. And they are the leader of journalism in the U.S. So I wonder if a lot of other newspapers will follow suit and go unverified. If they do, I don't think it's a great idea to do. But yeah, let's get to some good news, shall we? We need some good news. Here we go. Starting this fall, any Boston resident will be eligible to pursue a degree or certificate at one of 6 partnering local institutions without paying to attend. Boston's Mayor Michelle Wu said she believes that every Boston resident who wants to earn the skills and knowledge to give back to their communities and build a life here should be able to do so. Boston's tuition-free community college program has served over 1,000 students since 2016, according to city officials. So, this is kind of cool. I have mixed feelings about making things free versus making things affordable. I don't necessarily believe that we are all entitled to everything for free, but I think that college should be affordable. So for me, I think a better program would be to have assistance and make it very cheap for anybody that would want to go to this community college. It could be very, very cheap. You know, make it $100 a semester or something. The thing is, just as far as incentives go, when you pay for something, you value it a lot more. Even if you pay a little bit, if you have to pay something, you will value that a lot more than if you get it for free. There's something about when something is free that we just don't assign it any value. And we want, going to college, going to community college, we want that to have some value. So I think just on a psychology level, I think we would be better serving the people if we made community college affordable for anybody that wanted to go. And you could even have a program to pay for most of it. But you have to, in my opinion, you have to pay a little something just so that you value it. That's just human nature. And if human nature were different, then I would probably think something different. But I know from my experience, decades on this earth, that when things are free, we don't value it as much. But I see no reason that they couldn't make it $100 a semester. That would be fine. You know, when I went to university, long ago, I went to a very affordable state college. And at the time, when I started, I think tuition was $450 a semester, full-time, something like that. Very affordable. And when I finished, I remember it kept going up every year. It got up to like $800 by the time I got my degree. But because you pay for it, you value it. And something's free, I don't know, people just feel entitled. And I don't think a whole lot of good comes out of being entitled. But I don't know. But I think that's pretty good news. There are lots of programs across the country, especially for community colleges, where it is very affordable or free. So if you haven't looked into that, that might be something that you could do. If you're interested in taking some more classes, it might turn out to be a whole lot cheaper than you thought it was. If you were to take something at community college, what class would you like to take? I was thinking, now for me, I kind of want some more just kind of fun activity classes and not necessarily, I've already gone to college. I've already taken all those classes. So for me, I would want to take some fun recreational classes, maybe a salsa dance class, or maybe learning how to make a board game class, maybe a painting class, something like that. That's what I would enjoy. What would you take at a community college? Let me know. And that's all the news I have for you today. That's all I have for this show. Stick around the after show. I will be addressing your comments and sharing a little bit more about what's going on. But until then, I hope you have a beautiful day, and I will see you mañana. Peace. All right. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Oh. There we go. The after show. Okay. Well, first off, I just wanted to address this. I'm working on the set. I had big plans this weekend, and some of it involved some green screen effects. And after I spent a whole lot of time on it, I realized that every day, I got a little green here, but every day I wear a Hawaiian shirt or an aloha shirt, as they're called. Probably 3/4 of my aloha shirts have green in them. And you can't wear green in front of a green screen. It just doesn't work. And so I just panicked and I tried throwing something together. But I'm still working on this backdrop. It's all lit wrong, so I'll get it sorted out. Hopefully in the next couple of days. Lots of comments here on YouTube. Something else that I was trying to do today and it did not work was I was going to, so I'll keep trying, is to have some of the comments be overlaid on the picture here, and it didn't seem to work. So I'll have to keep working on that. Okay, but Duggo is over on Rumble. Hey, what's up, Duggo? Glad that you're here. So is Rev68 and Miranda. Lib Wing of the Lib Wing says hi. So we got a number of people over there on Rumble. Thanks for hitting the like button over there. And here on YouTube, oh, we got a ton of comments. What's nice, it was kicked off with Lucid Moments of Reality 5150 hitting the flames and the coffee in the chat rather than John. So very nice. Natasha says she got the notification, so that's cool. Here we go. Erie Ferry is listening at lunch, almost back to work. Very cool. Let's see. Like someone once told me, you don't always have to be right. Yeah, I'm right some of the time. I'm wrong a lot. It's not a big deal. And that's the thing, is if you can just like accept being wrong, it's not a big deal. You don't have to get defensive about it. What's with the mark on your face, Tom? I don't know. Do I have a mark on my face? If it's a let me just. It's not on this side. Don't know. Perhaps. Oh, right here. Maybe that is from setting up the tiki torch. Maybe I got a little. Looks like I got some soot, and I wiped my eye. Oh, maybe I'm just trying to look tough. I'm absolutely convinced I'm right on this, but many times when I've thought this way, it turned out to be wrong. It's true. I believe there is heaven, hell, and eternal life, but I could be wrong. Says Natasha. Yes, digital currency will be turned off and on at the government's will if they don't like you. Scary. That is kind of how I see it. I don't want the government involved with my money. I think we should be allowed to have money. And we see that cash is going away. Cash is really going away. Especially with the pandemic. There are many stores that I go to that just stop taking cash. And I don't know that that's legal. But they do it anyway. They just say, oh, we don't have any cash. Please use a card. And they act like it's a temporary thing, but it's been that way for years now. They're just pretending like they don't take cash anymore. We should be able to buy something without it being tracked. You should be able to buy something without the government knowing every single thing that you buy. And that's what's going to happen if we don't have access to crypto. If it just becomes a central bank digital currency, which is one that the government controls, if that's all that we are allowed to use is stuff that's tracked, then they know every single coffee you buy. They know everything that you do. And I don't know. That's not how I want to live. I don't need to be tracked. for every single purchase. Now, I know they track everything you buy with your credit card. I get that. But you should still have the option of buying something without them knowing about it. And so that's the kind of scary thing to me. And also, we've seen this. Now, I call my show a censored show, and it is. It very much is. When you can put in the exact title of my videos and they don't show up in the search, that was done by someone. Now, whether or not that was a government official telling someone to do it, I don't have evidence of that. But I don't want them to be able to do that with my money. Okay, yeah, my videos don't get out to as many people. It is what it is. But I certainly don't want them to be able to turn off my bank account just because they didn't like what I posted to Twitter or something like that. We saw this guy today in the story today that he is put away for a meme jokingly telling people, hey, you can vote by using a hashtag. Silly. Absolutely silly. So if there are government officials that are doing that, putting people away for a meme, for a joke, you don't think that they'll do the same thing? Oh, we don't like what this guy said. Turn off his money. That's coming. I really believe that that's coming, and I think crypto is a way to fight that. So I am in favor of cryptocurrency. I expect to be practicing my fasting skills thanks to government controls in the future. Okay. When the bottom fell out of the crypto market, I decided to wait and see what would happen. Yeah, I'm not giving anyone any investing advice. I'm not a financial advisor. But I do think that it is something to learn about. And I think that now is the time to learn about it. In my opinion, I think this summer there will be a big bull run in lots of the different cryptos. So it might be something to look into if you are interested in it. I am looking at maybe having a crypto donation. Donate to the show in crypto if you want. But I haven't quite got that working yet. Silver lining to that big ugly storm cloud. Okay. Let's see. No sarcasm or satire allowed, says Erie Fairy. Tom, there was a woman posting the same thing aimed at Republicans, though, and the rumor has it no punishment for her. Yeah, there are a lot of cases of, the joke, one of the jokes was, hey, one of the jokes that the Democrats were doing, I saw this online, is, hey, Super Tuesday, all the Democrats vote, and remember, Republicans, you get to vote on Super Wednesday, right? And there's no Super Wednesday. They were just telling the Republicans to stay home and not go to the polls. That was a joke. A lot of people were posting it, and no one's been punished for that. They don't have to necessarily punish every person. What they need to do, like they punished this guy who was very popular, and it does have a chilling effect. It does make it scary for the next election to come around. You're like, well, I don't want to post that. Maybe I won't post that. Now, I think, if you don't have a big following, you're pretty safe. You can still make your jokes. They only go after the people that have a little influence. So there's a silver lining right to that. Had I a big following, perhaps they would have arrested me for some of the memes I was posting. Who knows? Hyper nuance. Okay, if I chose to live in a different country, Romania is off my list. Liked here and on Rumble. Okay, cool. They have cool castles in Romania, right? Isn't that where Dracula's from? I mean, maybe you're a castle person. I don't know where you could get a castle outside of that would be affordable. Maybe you could in Romania. Tate was not in the U.S., so they can have their own rules, but I completely agree with the principle in U.S., the right to a speedy trial, and it is not allowed to have cruel and unusual punishment. Yeah, and I think, solitary confinement, I think, is cruel and unusual. Especially, like, solitary confinement before you've even had a trial. That is sick. It's sick. Aren't a bunch of people being held without being charged for J6? Yeah, there's lots of people being held. A lot of people been arrested, and they're keeping them, and they're not letting them free on bail, which is really, really scary. We've got the e-scooters over here in Nashville, and they leave them around everywhere like they do plastic bottles and trash. Yeah, that is a downside to the e-scooters. It's interesting. I like the idea of having a scooter. I think that maybe you could have designated places for them. I don't like the idea of just leaving them anywhere. I think in Portland we have bigger problems than that, but yeah. The scooters are perfectly safe. It's just a bunch of people driving them that aren't. Typically, that's the case. Scooters are not supposed to be left in the way. They should be on a public easement in the grass. I have a friend who shattered their arm and needed titanium bone. I don't think they're actually safe. I think they're pretty safe, just depending on where you're going, right? Just depending on where you're going. If you're riding on a busy street or cruising along on the sidewalk, especially the sidewalks here aren't exactly straight and aren't exactly without cracks and bumps and things like that. That can be tricky. Needed smart scooters that return themselves to designated hubs. Now, there's an interesting idea. I hadn't thought of that. But if you could, have these kind of drone scooters that once you're done, like, oh, that's a great idea. You could order a scooter, say, hey, I'm on this corner, and then the nearest one would zip over and find you. We'll probably have that in the near future. What a great idea. Wrestling, another popular thing of which I am totally clueless and uninterested. It's okay. I've heard it described as, soap operas for men. But it's just long-term storytelling with stuntmen, I guess. Choreographed stories with stuntmen. My grandkids watch wrestling. I am not a wrestling fan, but I really like some wrestlers who became actors like Dwayne Johnson and John Cena. Yeah, The Rock couldn't possibly be more popular, could he? I mean, probably one of the most known people in the world. And the set changed different. Yeah, the set's a little different. I'm still working on it, and I don't have the lighting right, but I'll figure it out. What happened to the sign banner at the bottom of the video? That's totally screwy. Yeah, I don't want to bore you with all the issues that I had over the weekend when I was trying to upgrade the programs that I'm using to stream. Some of them worked, some of them didn't work, some of them conflicted, and later. It's showing your hands detached from your body. Not sure what that is. Okay, I see. I'm not a Twitter guy either. Tom talks with his hands. I do. Yes, and we can see flame and daffodils. Okay, yeah. Yes, you can. And they know, but aren't telling us. I would take classes in alternative medicine. Well, that's a good... you ought to look into that, Natasha. You should. I think that you would be surprised at all of the programs that are available to you locally for taking classes, because there really are a lot of opportunities. And I know that they also have lots of incentives and special programs, so that if you don't have a lot of money, you can apply for different things, and you can be granted a good deal of the tuition. There's a lot of programs like that, and you don't know about these programs unless you actually look into it. So what I'm telling you, if there's something you want to try out, if there's a class you want to take, whatever it happens to be, knitting or winemaking or whatever you can think of, if there's something that you want to learn about, look it up, because I'm telling you, there are more opportunities now in continuing education than there's ever been. So check into it. I did community college after getting my master's. I took Spanish. Oh, fun. I would take a foreign language class. Master's, not mastets. Okay, you'll be an apparition. Okay. Your show's not censored, Tom. The internet is just broken. See who broke the internet at Truthstream Media Channel. Okay. Well, again, we can agree to disagree on that point. That's okay. Tom, how about a story from you on these new glasses for computer screens? I guess I can do a story on that. Basically, the blue light glasses that you've seen that people wear for computer screens, because you get the blue light. The blue light kind of excites you, if you will. I'm oversimplifying it, but blue light kind of excites you. And so one of the things they tell you to do is you shouldn't be looking at screens an hour before you go to bed, because it's kind of activated something in your head, in your brain. But there are programs that you can run. I know on my Macintosh there are free apps, and what they will do is they will change the colors and everything on your screen. They will dim it, and they will not have any blue light on it. So it will kind of tint your computer like an hour before you want to turn off, or in the evening, so you're not getting those blue lights. You can wear these glasses. Those work as well, but that's the idea behind it. The idea behind it is you don't want to take in blue light before bed, because it makes it harder for you to fall asleep. I would suggest not looking at a computer for an hour before you go to sleep. That's really all you have to do. But if you insist, that's the idea behind these blue light blocking glasses. I wear blue light blocking glasses. Helps with migraines. I hadn't heard that, so perhaps it is. I'm impervious to blue light. Okay. I meant glasses that are screens. Oh, glasses that are screens. I'll have to look into that. I've never tried them before, but yeah, that's something I can look into. Anyway, I'm going to keep working on the set. I really wanted today to have the chat be in the actual video, and it didn't work. So I'm going to keep trying on that. I'll keep trying on that, but come back tomorrow, and we should see a little bit different look, a little better lighting, all that good stuff. Anyway, thanks for joining me today on this Monday. Now tomorrow, I know the big news is I think all anybody is going to talk about is the Trump arrest, and that's why it's so important that I talked about today of agreeing to disagree. And even if you totally don't agree with someone, you can always agree on something. And so try to look for that agreement that you can make. It's going to draw you closer and have better relationships with people. So that's my encouragement. Anyway, y'all have a beautiful day. I will see you mañana. Peace.